for... Wow, there's all kinds of people playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in here. That's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, I see bars moving, so the pre-show audio did happen.
Good signs. Good signs.
Okay,
Jesse has bars.
I am not centered to adjust that.
Now everybody's going to want to hear Jesse's bars.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, there we are. I kept refreshing to see if we'd show up.
Oh, it took that long for you?
Yeah, it's just one of them days, I think, for my computer. It had a rough day last night because of our power issues. Is the storm. So even though I have a battery backup for it, it's still, had a rough day. All right, so which means I'm gonna pause the video part, but I'll keep up on the chat there. All right. And the show notes I have here. All right, cool. I'm ready. You ready, Jesse?
Ready.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 386, recorded on August 4th, 2022. On tonight's episode, we talk about a butt ton of Pokemon Presents info and a schwack load of Nintendo numbers. Jesse, you know what to do. Hello, everybody. This is the Nintendo Dads with myself, Tim, and Jesse. How are you doing, Jesse?
Pretty good. It's we were expecting Marty, but then an impromptu vacation apparently happened.
And you got to take those. You just got to take those.
Yep.
So awesome. So how's your day been going?
Pretty good. And I was going to say, we know how much Justin likes talking numbers, but doesn't like talking Pokemon. So it was a win-lose no matter which way he looks at it.
Yeah, it would have been conflicting things going on there for him if he was on this episode. He would have probably just been here for, he would have moved up the numbers and then been like, I gotta go now, Pokemon stuff, see you later.
Of course we had the Pokemon stuff on the top of the news. So.
Yes. We would have had him stick around. Maybe he could have got a nap in or something.
Yeah, someone in the chat's already asking, are Mario Kart 8 tracks live? I believe they are.
Yes, everybody in Twitch is on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe right now. If you're here, you probably see everybody else playing it. But we're not. We're here to talk about the news.
Yeah, I don't even own the game. I am one of the 50% of people, Switch owners, who do not own it.
And I'm one of them who hasn't downloaded it yet. So, but who knows? I'm sure at some point this weekend I'll try them out. But that's
he goes dips out to download them then, JK.
Right. All right. Well, let's go on over to the news. So get on to that stuff. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, but the news part is brought to you by our Patreons over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. Huge thanks to all our Patreons who follow us and subscribe to us. We greatly appreciate it when you guys give us your hard-earned money, any amount thrown our way to keep the lights on and to do the things we do here, such as some of the contests we do, or even some of the equipment we buy, or some of the games we buy that people don't send us, because not everybody sends us code. Nintendo doesn't always send us a code, so it helps to when we can go and pick one up, or 2 or 3 or whoever we need to buy. So again, thank you, Patreons, for following and subscribing to us, and thank you for supporting us. and thank you for supporting the news. Speaking of news, we're going to talk about Pokemon Presents that was dropped on us August 3rd, a couple days ago. And before I jump into the overall thing, Jesse, what stood out to you the most out of this one? Did you get to watch it? Well, of course you did. You took the notes. So
Yeah, though it took me 2 hours to write notes on a 20-minute presentation. Well,
you see how much work goes in here, guys.
Nothing really stood out as exciting to me. There was a few things I'm like, I wish you didn't talk about that, but we'll get into those details later. But
yeah,
I think like the one thing that kind of made the show was Fido.
okay. Yep.
Like as soon as they showed that the puppy, like Twitter just went, "Aw."
Yep. And of course, it was wasn't quite Fido though, was it? It was
It's pronounced
Oh, it is
Fido.
Fido. That's right. It's just spelled differently.
DOUGH. Dough.
It's dough.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. So yeah, there was a lot of information thrown out there, and of course, in most Pokemon Presents, they talk about some of their mobile stuff, which they did.
Oh, and one of my predictions, not official show predictions from January, but I think it was just a side comment I made last week or 2 weeks ago. Confirmed, okay. And we'll get to that too.
Okay, cool. All right, so beginning at the top of the show, the Pokemon Presents, they talked about the Pokemon World Championships, which will be held August 18th through the 21st in London. Jesse, are you one of the lucky few that get to go to that?
I am not, but I know someone who is.
Oh, nice.
Roger's going.
Of course. All right, then I guess I know somebody who's going. Now, which is why he couldn't be on the show tonight, actually, because we tried to get him on here to talk some more Pokemon stuff, but this is why we want to get him on the show, because he's going there. So maybe we'll have to see if we can get him there, get him here after he comes back, so we can talk about more Pokemon stuff and his experience there. But they talked about what was going on there at the show, their trading card game, their Sword and Shield game, Pokken Tournament, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, and they showed off the new trophy, which is a Pikachu holding a smaller trophy, which I thought was pretty cool.
A little meta there.
Right? Fourth wall. So they also talked about Pokemon Go, which they have a Pokemon Go Fest 2022 final event, which will be held on August 27th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. Hopefully, Robo Jesse won't be jealous of me talking about this stuff.
He's fine.
Pokemon Go stuff. Okay. Completing the special research for trainers with an event ticket will earn a Shaman.
I like I've done with earlier Pokemon Go Fest. I do plan on streaming this if I can. How much I stream depends on how much I can do at home versus if I have to go out. Like if I have to spin stops, if I have to hunt down rocket grunts, etc.
Right.
I can't do that at home.
Of course. That'd be kind of hard. Let's see. Daily Adventure Incense has been added to the game, which I thought this was interesting too. Gives trainers who are walking 15 minutes per day a chance to encounter Pokemon that may not normally spawn, including legendaries. Interesting that they're doing it again, obviously, because I know they've done this before, right? But for 15 minutes, did they do it that long before?
Yeah. Well, they still have the regular incense, which is 30 minutes. Sometimes it's up to an hour. Sometimes it's up to 3 hours if it's during a community day. And that used to be walking only, and then they changed it so you can do it without moving. I think it's a small penalty. I think it's so with the daily is incense is a different incense than the other.
Right.
Where it can only be triggered once a day, and it's for 15 minutes. And at the end of the 15 minutes, you get a status screen saying how many Pokemon you caught, you are shown which ones, and then the distance.
And it's normally hard ones too, right? And that's the whole purpose of it, is to be able to catch the ones that you don't normally get in that area you're in or something like that.
I haven't seen any legendaries yet when I've tried them. I've only had a chance to go like 2 or 3 times just because it's
Okay.
been hot as hell here, and I'm not. I don't want to walk, even if it's only 15 minutes. I don't want to walk.
Right.
But people have reported seeing the Galarian Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno in that rotation,
Okay.
which hasn't been available in the game yet. They say this is their introduction to the game through this adventure incense.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty cool. I like that they're doing that, at least to give people a chance to try to catch things that they normally can't catch. So, more news in the Pokemon Unite area. This was their first year anniversary event that they talked about. A new quick battle pick a party started Wednesday evening and goes through September 1st. All players and wild Pokemon are Pikachu, which I thought was hilarious. Buzzwole
Buzzwole,
Wool Buzzwole is now a playable Pokemon.
because he's swole. He's big, muscular
Gotcha.
guy. Buzz swole.
Additional events will take place in September.
It's like a big muscular mosquito.
I don't want to get bit or stung by one of those things.
No, you don't.
Licenses and Hollowware for Pikachu, Blastoise,
Yep.
Lucario, Snorlax, and Sylveon will be gifted to players during this event.
You don't
You
say
can tell
Pokemon names often.
I don't play these often enough to say them enough. So, Pokemon Masters EX celebrated the 3rd year anniversary, and they're doing an event for that. And they'll have a trainer lodge coming later this month, and more details will be coming about that if you're interested.
Whatever
in
that means.
Yes,
I'm
a
surprised
place
that
where you can
game's-
spend money, essentially.
Probably. Yeah, I'm surprised that game's 3 years old already. I remember trying that out when it launched, and I'm like, yeah, not for me.
It
I,
seemed
I
interesting
did.
to be able to
I
use
did
all
play
the
it
different
longer than I played
characters.
Unite. Unite was like an hour, and I'm like, okay, I'm out.
That's still
Probably,
impressive that you did
probably
an
not
hour of
even that.
Unite, I really like. I just don't spend enough time to play in it enough because I really liked it because it reminded me of a sports game. I know it's more of an MMO, but um, it's kind of gave me sports game vibes too. So I had fun with it when I was playing with it, especially with the Nintendo pals when I joined them with it too. So it was fun. Pokemon Cafe Remix, Mewtwo returns, and Victini and Latias are new to the game.
Latias.
So Latias. All right. And then on to the main event of the show. And that the main event is Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet news. The game will be in the Paldea region.
Yeah, I think Paldea.
Paldea. Yeah.
I don't remember how they pronounced it.
Right. Legendary Pokemon Koreadon and Mariadon are rideable mounts with wings for gliding and will also allow for water travel. And it looked like they climb too.
Yeah, I saw that climbing a little bit. So basically, all of the mount Pokemon from Arceus is just bundled into these legendaries.
Yes.
Which probably tells me that they probably won't be able to do everything at once. They'll probably slow roll the abilities as if you got the new mount in Arceus.
Yes.
But this is what I said I got right, because I think last week or 2 weeks ago I said these things are going to be mounts.
There you go.
And I was right.
In addition to the normal gym battle arc, there are 2 additional story arcs in the game to discover. This particular thing is what intrigued me about the game and brought my level of wanting to play this up.
So I don't know what they mean by that.
Additional story arcs.
Because like even in the original game, like Gen 1, you had the gym battle arc, and plus there was Team Rocket stuff mingled in. Do they count that like a story? Or
I took it as 3 different arcs that you could go on. You don't have to do the gym battles. You can go on a different story arc, is what I got out of it.
Or is a story arc similar to what Sword and Shield did as DLC? Which I didn't do because I didn't play. So yeah, I don't know what that means, but there are many possibilities.
Yes. And the other interesting thing is I wonder if the arcs touch on each other, if they connect to each other at all.
I hope so, because those are the type of stories I like.
Yeah,
Which is
same here.
like which apparently Live Alive does well, and Octopath Traveler did not.
Yeah, that just pointed me to with Octopath Traveler. So there's some new Pokemon, or sorry, did I read that one? Yeah, so new Pokemon. Pelid
Paldean,
Paladine, Paldean
Paldean.
forms of existing Pokemon will appear, including Wooper, a poison ground type that can have the water absorb ability.
That's nuts, because ground is weak to water. But if it has the water absorbability, does that mean if it gets attacked with water, it'll actually gain health? I don't know what that means. But
I want that Pokemon.
when Roger heard this, he flipped. The way that he
I
flips.
bet he did. This one and this intrigues me too. I like unique Pokemon. So if I do get this game, which I'm leaning towards getting, probably Violet, um, I'll probably try to see if I can get one of those. The other one, which we talked about briefly, was Fido. It's a fairy type. And again, Fido is a dog, and it's spelled Fidough. Fido.
Yeah, I think Roger made a joke saying that he hopes that the evolution is something like Barklava.
We'll see.
Or no, maybe it wasn't
We'll
Roger.
see.
Maybe it was Loxton. I think it was Loxton that made that
Okay.
joke, but that would be
Still,
funny.
we'll see.
He kind of made the comparison to Theodo.
Okay. And then the other one is, and I'm guessing probably not the only one. They just three that we have here is Citian,
The Titan.
Cititan. Thank you. Ice type. So that one I don't remember sticking out too much to me in that one.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people are a little upset about Ice type only, because for someone who's supposed to be a tank, Ice only is not a good tank because there's so many things weak against it or strong against it. But
well, aren't there other things that could be added to it to make it not only an ice type?
And we'll get to that in a bit. But an example of other than that, if it was say ice water, that gives it more resistances.
Okay.
Versus just ice, because ice only is weak to fire, but ice water, which is strong against fire, cancels out the weakness and it just turns it into a normal attack.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see some of these new things that are going on. The other interesting thing that I liked about it is the co-op play with up to 3 other trainers. I thought that was really cool. It kind of gave me a little bit of a Monster Hunter vibe there in a way, but Pokemon style.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me a bit of the raid battles that Sword and Shield has, but this is not limited to the raids. This is the game can be played with 4 players,
right? Which is really cool. So
I wonder how how status gets saved. Is only the host gets the status, or do they all get statuses?
That was something I was wondering too.
Kind of the big unknown with that when it comes to that.
I've seen it done both ways. When you're doing the raid and it says you can get the you can catch the Pokemon after that, it's like, okay, who gets it? The host or everybody gets a chance to catch it?
Sword and Shield, everyone got a chance at it. They all had their own independent encounters, and kind of similar to Pokemon Go.
Maybe it handles it that way too, just like kind of like Monster Hunter does too.
Yeah, I would think so. At least when it comes to the Terra raid battles, that well, I hopscotched an important bullet, so let's get back to that one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get over there. But in regards to the 3 other trainers, local play is going to be interesting. I'm gonna find out if this is going to be a family thing or not. Like if my kids and maybe even my wife will be interested in trying this out, and the 4 of us play Pokemon together. So that'll be key right there, because we haven't had a game like that in a long time for us to play together like that. So other than Animal Crossing, but you can't go
Yeah,
and hunt other animals on Animal Crossing Island. Not yet, at least. That's
that's
the
a
next
different type of
DLC.
game. That's the crossover with Doom.
There we go. Yes. Uh, the next thing that was brought up, the terrestrial phenomenon. Pokemon can terrestrialize, which gives them a gem-like look, can change their appearance and power up their moves.
See, this I'm
Some
like, oh no, not another gimmick.
uh,
Yeah, I know. I
we
know there
will.
has to be a gimmick every generation,
I can't wait to
but
see what the toy thing is going to be.
yeah, oh yeah, that's the main reason why they're doing this type of gimmick is for the merchandising.
Right. Some
It looks
Pokemon,
pretty, but
it does look pretty cool. Some
like I
Pokemon can
wasn't
change.
like I wasn't a fan of Gigantamaxing. I wasn't a fan of Z-moves. It's those gimmicks. I don't like that aspect of the Pokemon. So,
Yeah, I don't really get into it either. Although, what was the gimmick in Arceus? What was that again? It was
um, was there one?
I don't know, maybe that's why I liked it so much. Maybe there wasn't
I think
that,
so. I don't think there was a gimmick.
I could have swore there was something. Uh,
Oh, the alphas? You thinking of that? But that's not really the
no,
same type of gimmick.
no.
Yeah,
No
I don't
worry.
think
I won't worry about it.
I don't think there was a gimmick in the same way.
Yeah, not in the same manner for sure. Um, maybe it was just story gimmick or something like that with time travel type stuff or whatever. Anyways, some Pokemon can change type in this form. Pikachu gains flying type, which I thought that was interesting too. And that's what I was trying to think of, was that maybe that will cause the ice type to change
Yeah,
something.
and that's probably why a good reason why a lot of the newer Pokemon only have monotypes is they can then add a type with the terrestrial form,
Yeah.
and their native natural type do not have to match their terrestrial type.
Right.
And they showed an example of 3 different Eevees. One had a normal
Yes.
was the normal type, one is a grass type, one is a water type,
That's right.
and you know what type it is based on this stupid headdress that they're wearing.
Okay. Yeah.
That is this
Yes.
taller than their head. They're
The crystallized. They look like crystals, which could be another selling, like a more expensive thing to sell the Pokemon fans, is get was that Swarovski crystals? Uh the real
I'm not
the really
familiar.
expensive crystal store that you see in the mall that has the swan on the.
Oh, I don't go to the mall much anymore.
Yeah, they do
that's
expensive crystals.
that's a
I wouldn't.
that's a place for the kids.
All right. Pokemon have a Terra type separate from their normal type that determines the new type when the effect is in place, which I think you mentioned in this, the EV thing too as well. Terra raid battles seems similar to Gigantamax raid battles from the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, only with terrestrial Pokemon. Terrestrial. No,
Restal. There's no R in there.
Terrestal. Terrestal. November 18th is the date. Pre-orders available now. A Pikachu with Terra type flying is available to those who purchase the game early.
I didn't see when the deadline was, but they're normally like 3 or 6 months. And
Yep.
if you eShop it, you'll probably just get a code sent to you and put that in the game to get it.
If all 4 of my family members are going to be playing this, I'll probably just get two packs.
There you go.
Get that.
Dang it! I've done that before. I've like I think Gen 6 X and Y. I think I bought 4 copies. One for me and one for each of the kids.
We actually did that with Sword and Moon because I thought we were all going to be playing that one.
It's Sun and Moon.
And not Sun and Moon.
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. Sorry, Sword and Shield. We did that with that, and all 4 of us had a copy, and then 2 of us didn't play it at all. and I only played it because I was helping out Sophie, so she was playing it the most. So I sold back, traded in one of each.
Mm-hmm.
So but we'll see in this one. I'm looking at the chat here. Did you see anything in the chat? The gimmick to Legends Arceus is that the game is open world, Tim. Mecha Dragon says. That was the
Well,
gimmick.
I'd say that's only half right. The areas were still zoned off, but within the zone, it was fully open.
Yes.
And this seems
It
to
was their
be,
way to work on that.
yeah, this seems to be fully open.
Especially with climbing. So
Yes.
I
And
like Eevee staying normal, but getting the elemental power ups is what Ms. Ike says.
yeah, so it's not like where normally if you evolve an Eevee, now you're stuck with that element type. So here, this Eevee will go back to normal when it's done.
Yeah. Very cool. So did this help you on your hype level for this game at all? This video, this
I think it
presentation?
did. I think I am looking forward to this one. If they do take the parts from Arceus that I like, this this has a chance of being the best mainline game. Of
I
which,
agree.
again, I've only ever finished 3 generations, so I don't have a high bar. But I think I've see 4. I didn't finish to Gen 2, but I got to Red, but never couldn't beat him. But still, I beat the main game and then got to the bonus content. So I think I beat Gen 1, 2, 4, 6, or 7. I don't remember which ones were.
I'm impressed
So,
you remember all of those.
it was Sun. I beat Sun and Moon. I did not beat X and Y. So whatever generations those were.
Gotcha. So I'm really looking forward to what they did with this game because of Arceus was really high up on my list. In fact, I think it is going to be in my talks for game of the year for me in my list. It's on
Oh,
there.
right now that is my list.
Just that. Well, yeah, there you go.
Okay. There is 2 games on the list. Yeah,
So
I need to find more games that I like this back half of the year because the front half wasn't really great for me.
I think I have 4 or 5 on my list so far. But I played more and finished more, but I'm specifically looking at, you know, Nintendo Switch games too.
Yeah,
So because I had to take off like Inscription off that list.
right.
Otherwise that
Uh,
otherwise I would game deer.
yeah, Live and Live. I haven't had a chance to play Live and Live at all since last week, so I hope to be able to get back into that and finish that. That is a contender, definitely a contender to be on the list if I can
Gotcha.
finish it.
Oh wait, no, I did keep it on the list. It was games that didn't come out this year that I took off the list. Like
Okay.
Breath of the Wild, I didn't put it on there, but I actually had Breath of the Wild as my game of the year in 2017, even though I didn't beat it. So,
Well, still, if you had the most fun with it, that counts.
yep, yep. So, but yeah, so far 3 games I have so far is Inscription, Stray, and Pokemon Legends Arceus on my list of game of the year.
Yeah,
Small list.
yeah. I
But
didn't include Inscription because I was only counting Nintendo games, but and I haven't gotten back to Stray since that hour I played.
well, I guess uh I did beat Farlone Sales this year, but that's not the game that came out this year. I didn't play Changing Tides yet, but the only game that came out this year that's on for Nintendo on my list is Arceus.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, I didn't wonder what that means. I mean,
Means
I played a bunch of older games though. So, I mean,
means Kirby didn't hit you like it didn't hit me.
Kirby didn't hit me and I can't say it didn't. It's just I was playing it and just it wasn't kind of like Live Alive. It was like it wasn't sticking with me, you know?
Yeah.
So, but we'll talk about that later. All right. Uh back to this. All right, cool. Well, now that was Pokemon Presents. So lots of information there, more information that they gave to us. Does that mean we'll get a Nintendo Direct at all? I mean, they did a Pokemon Presents back in May, and we still didn't get any Nintendo
Right.
one.
I think people are hoping for a September one now.
Right.
They don't normally do one in August, but September is
True. Some late
common.
September, early October, maybe, or something like that, just to talk about their holiday. We'll for sure get probably Indie Showcase. We usually get another one of those. So, all right. Well, let's move on to the latest numbers that we got, actually. And Jesse, thanks for throwing that together after work today.
Yep.
So I started seeing some news items about it, and I was like, wow, did they just drop some information on their financials today? And sure enough, they did.
They did.
So we'll go over that information real quick. The hardware, Nintendo Switch sells 3.43 million units between April 1st and June 30th worldwide, for a total of 111 million units sold.
Yeah, that notation is like old GE notation that I picked up when I used to work for GE, and I just stuck with me. So yeah, that means million.
Okay. Yep. 111.8 million point yeah, point 08 million, excuse me, units there sold. And systems that have sold more is Game Boy at 118 million, close to 119 million there. And we're guessing that it will probably pass that because of the forecasted sales that they're talking about. And we'll talk about that in a minute as well, the forecasted sales. And then there's Nintendo DS, which with 154 million. Do you think they'll get that? The Switch?
Um, it,
I know we always talk about this, but I mean,
yeah, the passing
maybe in a
DS,
couple years.
passing DS, that'll definitely happen by the end of this fiscal year. This is only quarter one, so we still have 3 quarters to go.
Okay.
Catching up to DS though is probably depends on, are we going to see a successor in 24 or not?
Okay.
If we do, I don't know if we'll make it. If they don't do it until 25, then and sales are still strong, then yeah, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, especially I think if they do a boost similar to what they did with some of the other systems with I mean, we've seen it with themes and all that, but I think if they do like something nostalgic, like we've called for before with colors, like the clear color like purple, like they did for the Game Boys,
Or Joy-Con that looks like Famicom controllers,
or something, just something that goes along those
or
lines. If they start
Super
doing some
Nintendo
nostalgia ones,
controllers. Then
there's
of
gonna
course, then you'll have the EU and Japan colors versus the North American colors.
right.
And then Per Schneider will have to have both.
Yes, you got to have them all. It's like Pokemon. He's got to catch them all. So, yep. So I think it's possible to, like I agree with what you said there. Definitely, if they just keep on that trajectory, which they actually talked about.
Speaking of Joy-Con, I got my Joy-Con repaired and it came back. Haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I got it back.
Nice. So speaking of the units sold there, Nintendo Switch sales were talked about slumping because of the chip shortage, and this was in a Reuters report by Sam Newsy. Nintendo sees the second year of Switch sales decline, sees procurement improvement from late summer towards autumn. So meaning they're hoping to get more chips towards the autumn there, into the holidays.
Yeah, the reduction in sales is not a reduction in demand like you'd normally think for a system in year 6.
Right.
But they still have a hard time putting stock on shelves.
Right. In
which
fact,
is
my
crazy for a system in year 6.
My daughter just bought a Switch OLED because she wanted to upgrade from her year 1 Switch. So they also gained, I guess, money gain some money from a weaker yen. But what I wanted to talk about was investors gauge the gaming market after the pandemic reopening. Talking about the party is certainly now over, according to gaming analysts. So basically,
What does
everybody
that
who
mean?
wanted it's basically everybody who wanted gaming systems because of the pandemic and being locked in the house are now wanting out of the house and no longer wanting to play on these systems or no longer wanting one. So that's why we're going to see a drop in sales, is what they're saying. So how big of a drop though? So
Yeah,
and then they
well,
also
is that are they still talking about hardware, or are they also including
hardware,
software? Because
hard
someone who owns a Switch but no longer wants to play it anymore won't be buying software either.
software too. Yeah, no,
So,
this was actually talking about the hardware and
yeah,
specifically,
yeah,
but
and yeah, again, it's hard to judge lowering demand when you have a lowering of supply.
right,
So
it is very hard.
you can't really judge both at the same time.
Right,
So
it's very
hard to
hard to
tell
do
what
that.
it's hard to tell what that how
Well, they're
accurate that
trying
statement
to
is.
because yeah, there's a chip shortage, but they're also saying people are going outside now. They're not going to want to buy this stuff. Um, so, but
But you can take it
Nintendo's
with
still
you.
maintaining Nintendo's still maintaining that they're going to sell 21 million units though. So,
So
which is
you know,
interesting.
hopefully that means they have something up their sleeves they haven't announced yet, or
Or they
you
just think the
know,
driving factor is Splatoon 3 coming out because of how popular it is in Japan and somewhat popular in the other regions.
yeah,
And
like Splatoon, I don't think is much of a system seller here, but it is in Japan. But of
right.
course, those people probably already have a Switch because they've had Splatoon 2 for 5 years.
But if Splatoon 3 is big over there, that they're probably going to be the ones eating up that
There
special
was
edition Splatoon 3.
there was a Splatoon special edition Switch
Yeah.
announced, right? Is
Yes.
that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And yeah, I was surprised too that during the present they didn't say anything about a new Pokemon Light, Switch Light,
Right.
that's based
Okay.
on Scarlet and Violet.
Maybe that's still coming.
Still
September.
could be, especially for the
September.
holidays.
Yeah, because if the game comes out the Friday before Black Friday,
Right.
so that's holiday sales peak. Start.
Very true.
So that would be so it would make sense for that to happen.
And that would make sense to happen during the Nintendo one because I think that's when they announced the other one, right? The others
Yeah,
Switch Lights. They
because
were always
Pokemon
Nintendos.
because this was a Pokemon Company presentation,
Gotcha.
so they don't do anything. They're not with the hardware.
So there's still potential there. All right. Uh, Also mentioned because of the discussion with the president, there's no new Nintendo hardware during this fiscal year, is what they said.
And
But we've heard
and,
that before,
and I hate that that's a news article because
right?
duh.
Right.
Because if if you're still expecting something new at this time, especially a successor, while there's still a rollout of Mario Kart 8 DLC, you really think
Yeah.
they're going to combine the two? I don't.
And then they were just talking about the chip shortages too. So yeah. Well, that's it for the hardware side of things. We always talk about this every time. Is like, okay, where are they going? Are they going to make their numbers and all that kind of stuff? Nintendo still maintains that they're going to do 21 million units, and I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
it. I believe
I
they
did
got the
read that
estimates
they did
right.
not alter their forecast.
Yep. So we'll see how that goes, and I always enjoy watching what Nintendo does to make sure they get their numbers. So, and if they're not, they'll update us at the next financial thing to say
We'll
that
find
they had
out.
to make an adjustment.
We'll we'll find out in 3 months,
Yes,
beginning of November.
right. All right, on to the software. So we have top 10 games as of
Yeah,
March 31st.
there was absolutely no movement in the top 10 games.
No movement. So the same as Mario Kart 8, Animal Crossing, Smash Bros, Breath of the Wild, Sword and Shield, Odyssey, Super Mario Party, Diamond and Pearl, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and Ring Fit.
But the thing that's surprising me though is uh Diamond and Pearl and the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee sold 140,000 units and 130,000 units for in their 8th and ninth slot. Ring Fit Adventure sold over a million in the 10th place slot. If so, they're selling more 10 units of Ring Fit for every 1 unit of Pokemon here. So if that trend still continues, the next quarter we can see Ring Fit up to 8.
That's crazy.
Yeah, who would have thought that?
That's like, and so there's like 14.5 million Ring Fit units out there. So there's plenty of room. There's still 111 switches out there. So although I have to figure out what number of that is actually the dockable switch. So since you have to use Joy Cons with it.
But still, you compare Joy Cons to a Lite. It's just
yeah,
hard to see the screen that's small.
If you go 80-20, go 80-20, just say we'll say there's 80 million switches out there that could easily run Ring Fit.
Yeah.
And you got plenty of room.
They did show a graph that gave an approximate percentage of how many of those switches are lights and how many aren't, but I don't remember what it was. But definitely light is the smallest of the 3 tiers.
Right.
Which is kind of surprising because it's the cheapest one. You'd think that would give it a boost, but the main tier Switch is their biggest selling.
Yeah. Well, it's the Switch is the Switch. Again, everybody wants that.
Yeah, and it's supply, not demand. So
true.
People will buy whatever they can find.
Yep. But I think though too, again, going back to nostalgia, if they have more versions of it available when they start having that availability to do, say, light versions of the colors that people remember back on Game Boys or 64s, and stuff like that. Though I'm betting those will get snatched up pretty quickly, almost as much as DSs were.
We need a new Blurple.
3DS.
It looks like one color, but they say it's really something else.
Yes. It would have to be the opposite of Blurple. It would be Peru.
Bread.
Bread.
Gred.
Gred. All right. Let's see. So 37 first-party games are million sellers. Report didn't show updated sales for all games, only those that sold more than 1 million units. So,
which this quarter literally was 4 games. It's just the other games from 11 to 37 is just carryover from last time.
Yeah. So what moved? I'll just name the 4 that moved. Arceus moved up from number 17 to number 13. Then Nintendo Switch Sports is new to the list at number 20. Kirby and the Forgotten Land moved up from 26 to 21. And it's now the second best selling Kirby game already. So number 1 is still Kirby's Dream Land at 5.13 million.
They probably have a chance to catch that.
Yes. Yeah. And then number 3 right on the other side of it is Kirby Star Allies for the Switch at 3.42 million. So definitely I think it has that potential of being number 1 and well deserved. Even because I may not have played it and beat it. I mean, I did play it, but I may not have beat it, but I watched others play it. And when they've gotten farther into it, it is very, very tempting for me to continue playing that game because of what I've seen later on in the game. So maybe one day we'll see. And then the number 4 one is Mario Strikers Battle League, which is new to the list at number 31. And one I have to throw out there too is Metroid Dread is still at number 27. People, if you didn't buy, there's 111 million Switches out there. All of you need to have a Metroid Dread. Get to buying. Let's go. If you know somebody who doesn't have a Metroid Dread game, buy it for them. Don't give them yours. Go buy them a copy. I want to see those numbers up there. Anyways,
Tell us how you really feel.
Yes. Digital sales note, digital sales increased by 16% year over year and accounted for 53% of the total software sales. So
I think the only time we saw that over 50% in the past was like peak pandemic in 2020.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
most of that is probably Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Because because last quarter was like 46%, so it went up. The fact that it's up to 53. I think Sony put out similar numbers earlier this week that their digital sales is almost 70%.
That makes sense. And that's interesting too, considering that
of course they also have a console that is digital only.
True. Very true. I'd probably account for 3% of that number there. That 53%. I buy a lot. I buy a lot online because it's just easy, and even double dip in some cases, depending on what it is. Like physical version, so the family can play it. But then I buy the digital one because I don't want to keep trying to get my turn with the copy. Right? Yes. Actually, that's one I haven't bought. I didn't buy physical of that one. I never got around to doing that one, but that is an example. Yes.
For the audio people, I showed up my copy of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus.
Yes. For an example of mine would be Metroid Dread. I bought the special edition one. It's on my shelf back there, and the digital version, so I could play it at midnight. So, upcoming games, which a couple of them on the list we already knew about, which we talked about briefly, Live Alive and Xenoblade Chronicles. But after that, Splatoon 3 is upcoming, of course, September 9th. Kirby's Dream Buffet, they have still down for summer 2022. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, October 20th. And that's a first party publishing in Japan by Ubisoft in North America and Europe. So
in other words, Japan, don't expect that to show 1 million units, even though, because if it sells 1 million units, Nintendo will only say it sold 200,000 because they'll only report on their own numbers.
Right. Bayonetta 3 is October 28th. That's on my list of games to get. And now on my list of games to get is Pokemon Scarlet and or Violet, or 4 of them, like we talked about, for November 18th. The sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the temporary title, is scheduled for spring 2023. And then, of course, to be announced, Metroid Prime 4 and Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. And again, for Advanced Wars, it's first party published in North America and Europe.
Yeah, I don't remember. They didn't say who's publishing it in Japan, but it's not. That's a third party there.
Interesting.
I just don't know
who. Okay. All right. Well, that is our news. We got through it, Jesse. We got through all of that buttload of Pokemon Presents and a schwack load of Nintendo numbers. So you know what that means. It's time for the ad read. All right. Hey, listen, it's dangerous to go alone or with a partner if you got bush. Take this, the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Taking control of your bush responsibly is important. These products are so good, you're going to be showing off your Master Sword and Rupees with pride. It's a fact that you will have the best kept sack in all of Hyrule. Save big and be the most hygienic version of yourself by using our discount code NINDADS for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use our code NINDADS, NINDADS. It's time you level up and impress your Zelda with the ultimate bushwhacking tools from Manscaped. On to Let's Discuss.
Nice.
I tried to make it nice and quick. so we can get onto this discussion of it's a hot button here for Jesse. So we need to talk about this. We need him to vent about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition because he was not aware that if you had purchased Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition, that the physical edition of the game was going to ship on or around the release date of July 29th. And the other stuff, the Steelbook game case, special edition box, and art book wasn't going to come until the fall of 2022. Calm down, Jesse. Calm down. What's that? Tell us. Go ahead and vent.
Yeah. So, well, ultimately, I'm not interested in the game. I'm keeping this sealed. But I kind of bought it for just to be a collector thing, just because. But I was not aware that they were doing split delivery. I don't know if apparently it was known around the 20th, about a week and a half before release, because that's the date of a Kotaku article. So if it was announced before that, I wasn't aware. In
I
fact,
don't think it was announced before that because I think it was the issue of them switching the dates. Because again, remember everybody that this game was originally supposed to be out in September and Splatoon was going to be out this summer, Splatoon 3, but they swapped the two games. And I think that's what the issue was overall. And they just couldn't move up this stuff quick enough because, we all know the pandemic and all that kind of mess with shipping. So
then I did see one tweet on it from talking about it, that they only received the game and apparently we'll get everything else later. I saw that the day that my first package came in. So, okay, I had expectations was already set. So I wasn't.
So you didn't open up your box and like, where's the rest of it?
Well, yeah, well, again, it was just in a small envelope. It's obviously not big enough for whatever the.
Where's the rest of my box?
Right. So, but still, and I haven't seen anyone talking about it on Twitter. I haven't seen anyone talking about it on the Discord. So, I know many people attempted to buy it. Did that many people fail to?
I was one of the people who failed. I couldn't get through. I sat in the same page for telling me, stay here, stay in line the second time around. And just never happened. It just never came across. And then when everybody else was talking about, not everybody else, but some people were talking about, oh, I got it. Or some people said there's crash. I was just like, let me go try another window. And I tried another window and it said, that, sold out or whatever it says on the site now. And then I was like, okay, let me go back to my regular screen. And then I went back to it and then it refreshed itself. And I was like, oh, here we go. And then it went to the same screen I saw on the other tab. So it was like, oh crap, I screwed myself up.
So when I found out about this, I did some searches trying to see, did anyone write an article about this? And at the time, I didn't even see Kotaku's article. I didn't find that one until I did similar searching today. But what I did find is something on the Nintendo of America website in their facts section, asking, when will I receive my Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition? And their answer is, if you've purchased the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition, please keep in mind it will ship in two parts. The physical edition of the game will be shipping on or around its release date of July 29th. Mine did ship on the 28th, but I didn't receive it until this week. And the Steelbook Game Case Special Edition box and art book will be shipped in the fall of 2022. So, and they didn't date or timestamp that article, so I don't know when they posted it or updated it. So that didn't answer my question. I wanted to know, when did they make this announcement?
Right.
Because they didn't do a very good job of getting that word out.
No. And you said too, when we talked briefly about it too, that apparently somebody, according to some people, there was an email that was sent to the people who pre-purchased.
One of the comments of the Kotaku article mentioned that there was an email sent out. Like I didn't get it, or it just looked like any of the other Nintendo marketing emails that I don't pay attention to, and I missed it.
Right. Okay. It makes sense. So At least you're still getting it. It just
Yeah, but now we just don't know when. And the kind of the joke part, at least from my point of view, not ever, not the every, not the eBay seller's point of view, who already have they got their tracking number, so they put up eBay listing saying special edition in hand, ready to ship. No, it's not.
right. False. Yes.
Very
That's
false.
that's what they get. That's what they get. So, anyways, yeah, it was a little frustrating for me too. It's just like, okay, I was actually trying to get one for the Nintendo dads. When the first try, I was actually going to get two when they were allowed to get two. I was going to get one for myself and then one for the Nintendo dads to give away. But then that fell through. And then the second time around, I was like, okay, I don't need to have this game.
Yeah.
I'll just get the special edition
Mine
for the
will
giveaway.
probably end up getting donated for a price in the future anyway. So since I have no plans on opening it.
Yeah. I was so disappointed by the first round. I was just like, you know what? I don't care what happens second round as long as we can get one. And I still couldn't get one. So to give away. So it was like very frustrating. But I hope they get things figured out for whatever next special edition they do. Thankfully they didn't do it with the Bayonetta one. Because there were probably been a lot of people frustrated with that. But hopefully they get this figured out so anything bigger isn't as bad as my experience I had with this. So
Right.
I'm glad the people who really wanted it got it though. It sounds like at least in our
They
community.
can't blame the chip shortage on the special edition box.
Right. Yes. It was just, because they switched the dates. I blame it on that because they fast forwarded it. So, all right. Anything else? Anything else you need to get off your chest about this, Jesse?
No, I think
You feel better now?
I feel better a little bit.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the events. All right. So we got an actual different event other than the dinner table. So we have Tetris 99 30th Maximus Cup, where you can earn up to 6 returning themes if you miss them the first time. Those 6 returning themes are Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which you can get on August 5th from 12 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time through 11:59 Pacific Daylight Saving Time. And these are the same times for all the other dates too. So I won't keep reading those. So it'll be just basically all that day in Pacific time. The next game is Metopia on August 6th, Mario Golf Super Rush on August 7th, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD on August 8th, WarioWare Get It Together August 9th, and Metroid Dread August 10th. Only 10 event points are needed per day to unlock these themes.
I can do 10 points. That's like maybe playing 2 games. Unless I get bottom 10, which does tend to happen.
I think the Legend of Zelda one is the one that's in. I hope I can remember to get, but I'll probably forget and miss it anyways.
Yeah,
but
I have to check to see if I'm missing. I do know I'm only missing like 3 or 4 of them. I don't know if any of these are.
Yeah, that's what I was
But
thinking.
I'll definitely log in and look.
I think I made a comment about this on Twitter. Like, I wish I really like this idea, and I hope that they do something even bigger another time where they just do something similar for all the backlog of themes that they've had that I might have missed. So, all right. So, and then speaking of, go ahead.
So before we move on to the next event, I want to throw in an impromptu one because Nintendo of America literally tweeted this as I pushed the music button for the events. Heads up, Kirby fans. The Kirby 30th Anniversary Music Fest is streaming live globally next week. Get ready to jam on August 11th at 2 a.m. Pacific time.
Sweet.
We plan to upload the video archive of the Kirby 30th Anniversary Music Fest at a later date. Please note the concert will be in Japanese and will not have simultaneous interpretations to other languages. And then if you're watching the video version, you saw me laugh about 30 seconds before I started reading this, is because Mario 64 replied with, "Will the video go away on March 31st?"
Nice. That's funny. Yeah, so you said August 11th at 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Pacific.
Pacific.
So that's
Because it's
5
at a
a.m. Eastern.
5 a.m. Eastern. Of course,
Okay.
it'll be a reasonable time in Japan time. It's just
Right, of course.
that it's just so we get shafted in the live.
So if I wake up early enough on Thursday morning, I could listen, I guess.
Yeah, and then so it's probably a reasonable time in the UK. That'd be about 9 a.m.,
5, 10, 10 a.m. in
9
the
or
UK.
10,
9 or 10, yeah.
depending on where they are.
True. Yeah. Very true. So yeah,
So
that would be good
quick on the
listening
fly
work.
event.
Nice. Cool. Very cool. And then we talked about the dinner table briefly. So just real quick, that's every third Friday where the community gets together in our Discord. If and the only way to get to our Discord is if you're a Patreon subscriber or a Twitch subscriber. And you can come join in on the dinner table where we talk about everything and anything, including that movie I just watched, everything and anything. uh, and so just all kinds of stuff we talk about: Marvel, cinematic universe, Star Wars, video games, um, golfing, Mecha Dragons, Choco Taco deliveries to everybody. And Slaw in concert, and I won't even say the other band's name. So, but we talked about all kinds of crazy
there was
stuff.
a lot of headcanon going on that night.
Yes. So no, it was a lot of fun in the dinner table. Again, it happens every third Friday. So in August, it's going to be August 19th, and it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So I'll just say 10 p.m. Eastern Time, regardless of the year. So, and then we're also in talks about doing a breakfast table at a different day and time for those people who can't usually cannot attend the dinner table. So we'll get something going. Probably maybe not in August, but we'll figure something out maybe in September after the kids have gone to school or at school and all that kind of stuff. So, and you're at work or whatever, and you can say you got to join an important meeting. You can come join
Right.
the meeting table. Maybe I'll call it that. All right.
The conference room.
The conference room. There we go. I'll call it that. That'll be a middle of the day type thing. We get to join the conference call. All right. Let's move on to what we've been playing. All right. While we're talking about what we've been playing, anybody in the chat, if you want to, let us know. You don't have to break down a whole list if you're playing a bunch of stuff, but there's something you want us to mention it here in the chat. And after Jesse and I are done talking about it, I'll try to cover what you guys are playing as well. Jesse, what you been playing?
Oh yeah, I haven't had any time to play games at all. The only thing I was able to squeeze in, I did a live stream last night of a new game that actually releases tomorrow called Logic Pick. You just PIC. It's as you can expect, a Picross-like game. It's just not from Jupiter. Apparently, this one has. I think it'll sell for $7.99, and it comes with over 1,000 puzzles. So a lot of content in this. Plus, it'll have 3 DLC packs. I think 2 of them are $2.49. One is $2.99, or you can get all 3 as a bundle for $4.99. I tried buying them today, but since the game hasn't launched, I can't buy the DLCs yet. So I'll do that tomorrow. So basically, it's you buy the 2 cheaper ones, you get the third one for free if you buy the bundle.
Nice.
This one it does have local co-op and competitive play, but again, I don't have anyone to play it with because no one else in my family knows how to solve these. So I don't know how the competitive play works.
Okay. And it's only
and
local you can do that with?
it's only local.
Okay.
Okay, and there is apparently a story mode, but the story mode chapters are locked behind having to solve puzzle the specific categories puzzles in the other mode, but they don't
Interesting.
necessarily go in order. So, like the first story mission is something about dogs, and it requires that I solve 10 puzzles from the home set. And I didn't figure this out until after the stream was over. So during the stream, I didn't understand what any of this meant. But that the home set is like the 10th or 15th category down. So it would, if they were sorted in a different order, that might have made more sense, or at least given the ability to jump to the proper set from the story page, saying that told me that this is locked because of these puzzles. That would have given me a fast track to get to find what I need to solve. But ultimately I did solve it. I unlocked the first story, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, there's a lot of puzzles in this game. Some categories, it's probably 20 or 30 different categories. Some categories have 20 puzzles. Some have up to 40.
Okay. I
So
might have
that's
missed this, but is this on par with the Jupiter ones? Play well?
it plays well with one caveat, and it's the Jupiter games and most of the other Picross games out there. A places your square, and pressing it again erases it, or B places an X, and pressing it again erases it. This one is minorly different, and I still get confused. A places the block, but hitting it again does not erase it. Y places the X, hitting it again does not erase it, but B erases whatever the cursor's on,
Okay.
regardless if it's a square or an X.
Gotcha.
So that takes a little bit of time to get used to if you're used to Jupiter games or games that control like Jupiter games.
Gotcha.
But other than that minor thing, it plays fine.
Okay.
I haven't had it. The one of the big things that I look for is the ability to like loop. Like if I'm on the leftmost column and push left, I want to end up on the right. And this actually has a toggle that turns that on or off.
Okay. I'm
And
looking it up
and
in
there's also a
Nintendo here.
toggle for autocorrect errors. I tell them, no, don't tell me if it's an error. Just let me do it, and I'll find out I made a mistake and reset it and start over.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the features that I look for, this game does have.
Okay. That's good to know. As I've mentioned before, my wife plays a lot of these too, so I'm gonna pass this information on to her as well. It's $8 showing in the US eShop. So it's a pretty good price. And then the DLC is what? How much for each one? Maybe.
It's two
Oh
forty
yeah, that's
nine,
right. That's right. You
two
said that.
yeah
249,
249,
299.
249, 299. Yeah, and
Gotcha.
last week I talked about Picross Cross, which I that seems to be Japan only. I looked at the Japan eShop page, and the
That's
only
right. Yeah.
supported language is Japan.
Okay.
So if that will come, it will come later because otherwise they would have said it also supported English. So I
Yeah.
didn't buy it
Okay.
because at
Maybe
least
that'll be a winter game that comes out.
yeah,
Maybe they'll release it then.
or I've played Japanese only Picross games before, like Super Mario's Picross in the
Oh
NSO
yeah.
app.
Yes.
So
I
I
tried that
might
by the way.
I 100%ed that.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Yeah, so I still might buy it later, but if I do, I have to buy it off the off of the Japan website.
Okay.
I have to
Very
get a
cool.
hold of some yen-based eShop cards first.
Gotcha. Yeah, let me know
Oh,
how that goes too.
and then I actually wanted to put it to my notes, but I forgot to write it in. But I wanted to give an update about my Sendico order.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So think either Sunday, I think Sunday night or Monday morning, I got a message saying that all three of my purchases are now in the warehouse. So then the next step is to create a parcel with. So I selected all three items, said create a parcel. Then it says, okay, we'll charge you 500 yen for the assembly, which I expected that. And then it gave me an option of how do you want it shipped to you. So I think it had like 12 options, but most of them were marked as unavailable. So there was only 4 available to me. I think the cheapest one was DHL. That would have been about 2,200 yen or about $18 for a slow shipping. I don't know how slow they said, but it would have been a slow shipping. The next one I did, the next one, which is what I chose, said 2-day shipping for 6,600 yen. So it's about $50. And so yeah, it sounds expensive, but still, I got the system itself for 100. So total of 150 plus 2 CDs on that. I still think that's a pretty good deal. Uh, so 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 they'll. It took them about 4 or 5 days to do the packaging, and then there was a checkbox saying, "Do you want us to notify you saying it's ready to ship, or do you want us to just ship it directly as long as you have the funds in your account?" So I said ship it directly, and I had to do an additional deposit to make sure I had the funds available, knowing I chose $50 shipping. Anyway, so and I logged in today and noticed that my balance has been lowered. So it is it it, it was packaged, ready for pickup by the courier, but they hadn't picked it up yet. So presuming they pick it up sometime today or tomorrow, business day, 2-day shipping, I'll probably have it Tuesday or Wednesday. Presuming they don't do anything on weekends.
Right. That's cool. I'm definitely going to keep
So
that in mind
so
for if I want
if
anything
that
from
all works
Japan.
out the way I think, I should be able to show that the system I bought on the next show.
Nice. Very cool. I hope it does. And like I said, if there's anything I want to buy, I'm definitely going to be looking into that.
Yeah, I
I
told my
did.
son about the site, and because he goes, "There's some things from Japan I'd be interested in," but he
Yeah.
wasn't keen on how slow the process is to get everything going.
Oh yeah.
So
It's slow. You got to
and
be
he
patient.
goes, he doesn't have the patience, so he said he probably won't use it.
I did something similar for UK stuff. For Twilight Princess. A just the steel case book for that. The Twilight,
Mm-hmm.
not Twilight Princess. The
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword HD for the Switch. I wanted their steel case, and someone was selling it there for whatever amount, and so I was like, I don't have the game yet. I still don't, but I wanted the steel case, so I got that. And then I forget what else I got with it too, but Luigi Aces hat, the tennis hat.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, it was pretty cool to see that happen and do that to that you could get basically a place in a warehouse that you can get your stuff shipped to, and then they will deliver it to you once you're there. So just a matter of creating an account that's a UK account with that address. So, or in your case, Japan account with that Japan address.
Yeah. But with at least the way Syndico works, I don't have to tell the seller to ship it to their warehouse. I tell Syndico I want to buy this item, and they take care of that for me.
Nice. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
So, yeah, even if it's off of a website that isn't directly linked, they just have an order form saying if you have something you want to buy, fill out the order form, and we'll see what we can do with it.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't know they did that too. All right.
Yeah, so I don't know where their warehouse is, so I don't have to tell the seller that. Syndico
Nice.
does that for me.
Yeah. That makes it a little bit easier for sure.
Yes.
All right. So real quick, I'll mention a couple people said Ninfrendo said he's playing MK8 DX. That's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe probably the new tracks, and Mario Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak. So that's cool. And then Mizaik says, I've been playing the crap out of Multiverse. So that's that new fighting game, WB fighting game, which everybody's saying is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
So
my son was playing that earlier today, and I asked him questions about it. He says that he likes playing as Finn. Is that the Adventure Time character? Not the
okay,
dog, but the human. Jake.
okay,
No, I don't remember. I never saw the show, but whoever
one
the
of
human
them.
was, because he says he plays exactly like Link.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So he knows how to play this character already.
Very cool. All right. Anybody else who's watching there? There's 3 people watching and hanging out with us, at least on Twitch side. I don't know how many is on the YouTube side.
Mecca says Finn is the human. So I was right the first time.
Okay, there we go. Let us know what you've been playing. I'm happy to share. And Mecca, you didn't let us know what you've been playing. You got to tell us what you've been playing. While he's doing that, I'm going to talk about what I've been playing. I've been playing some Playdate games because I've got a bunch of them in the past couple weeks that I hadn't touched yet until recently.
I bet I have like 6 gifts.
Probably. But out of the games that I play, out of the games, the bunch of games that we got, I've been spending most time with Pick Pack Pup, which is basically you are a puppy who collects these items that you have to ship. Speaking of shipping, but it's like you have to put all the like items together in one box. And depending on where you put those like items together, it will give you a shape of a box. So they could be almost like Tetris shapes, but you're not moving the Tetris shapes at all. The Tetris shapes could actually, depending on how you move them, could block you from getting other parts or other things that you ship. So it's pretty straightforward. It's not, at least I haven't gotten far enough to make it stressful. It's actually pretty laid back for me, but I like it a lot. It's a good, quick, pick up and play type game in there. Again, it's called Pick Pack Pup on the Playdate.
Yeah. I checked. I have 8 gifts unopened.
8. There you go. Another one I've been playing is called Zipper. The one I've been playing the most time is called Zipper. It's basically you're like this samurai that you go across a grid-like screen environment where you have to draw where you're going to go, and you can only go in a straight line, either straight across or straight left or right. But your moves, basically, wherever you're going to go, you can only go so far in that straight line. You have a gauge of how far you can go. And then once you move, anybody else on that board can start moving towards you. The object is to just zip right through all the characters as fast as you can, straight through without getting caught yourself.
Is this like a Fox and Geese like game?
I don't know. It's not anything like I've played before, but basically it's just,
Okay.
like I said, just drawing a line to go from one end to the other. But you can also, one of the things you can do with again, it has the gear on there, or whatever that's called. The
crank.
The crank. Thank you. Yeah, the crank. Couldn't think of the word for some reason, but the crank on there is, you can use the crank to actually see where the other characters on the board are going to go. So you can kind of like, you have this ability to see the future.
Little future.
So you
sight.
draw the path you want to go, and then you move the crank to see where those other characters are going to go when you finish where you plan on going. So you can kind of plan what you're going to do, see where they go. And the further you get in the on the boards, the harder it gets, and you have to watch where these characters are going to go and move towards you. Because not a lot, you can't just draw a straight line and end up killing all of them at once. Sometimes you got to make them move so that you can move to the other side. And then as far as you can without getting hit by anybody else who can move on that grid to get you. So it's very interesting. It's a strategy game, I guess, if you will. Um, and I like some of the warnings you get in some of these games. It has when you go to open it, it has a warning about it being potentially graphically violent with pixely, you know. So I
Like
thought that
getting
was
kicked in the
interesting.
nuts and bolts from a few weeks ago.
Exactly. Yes. And I love your look there, Jesse. I love the
Yeah,
sunglasses look. You got
I
your sunglasses. You got
got a
your
few new
gooders.
new pairs in a few days ago.
Sweet. So that was Zipper again on the Playdate. And then the other one that's got holding my interest, and one actually I just posted on Twitter about, is called Questy Chest. Chess, excuse me, not chest.
Yeah, yeah.
Questy Chess.
I'm like, there's no T in what you have in the notes.
Yes. Sorry, Questy Chest might be something else, but Questy Chess is what I've been playing. And it's
Well, we'll let John and Drew talk about that.
yes, role playing chess simulator is what they got written down here.
I might
Uh,
like that one, maybe, depending on how
yeah.
chessy it is.
So let's see if I can explain it. And this one is really holding my attention because at first I was very frustrated because it does not tell you what to do. You got to figure it out. But basically, you're a pawn from a chessboard in a computer, an old computer or a computer that has old chess software.
I'm going to make a small joke. You won't get it. Probably no one else in the show listening to the show will get it.
Go ahead.
Is its name Hym? Hym.
No,
Okay.
I
So
don't
if
get
you
it.
if you get it, let me know. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what it is until post show.
Okay. All right. Thankfully, I'll know because it'll drive me crazy. All right. So, anyways, so what I found out is basically you are a pawn, and if you play chess, if you pawns can only move on the first move 2 spaces, and then after that 1 space, just straight ahead, no diagonal move unless you're taking a piece. So with that in mind,
Is there castling?
I don't know yet.
Oh no, pawns aren't involved in castling, so never mind.
Okay, but
I
I
was
was gonna
thinking
say
rooks.
maybe later on, I don't know, but um, you are basically playing an RPG version of chess, and your moves are based on the piece you're using, which is the pawn. And when you're moving through, you have to be strategic on where you're going because the other pieces you are fighting against are also chess pieces and
And
can move,
they're stronger than you.
and they move in their ways. So if there are bishops, they move diagonally. Um, and of course, in a knight, the L shape that they move. So, and I haven't gotten very far in the game, but once I figured out what was going on in my movements, I was like, oh, and then I was able to start taking some of the pieces. You can actually, take some of the pieces that your enemies, and you have to be strategic about that. And then there are pieces of the board that you can actually control as well with the crank in certain situations. So it gets a little bit more complicated and very interesting. So it's not just a chess game. It's using chess pieces in an RPG like setting, which is very interesting. And you actually get collect treasures that you can use in the game as well to help you boost your energy. If you lost some, health, you can boost your health. So that's all I know so far. I've only played a couple boards once I figured it out. And again, it's held my interest so far, and it's the one I'll probably be going back to the most when I play my play date.
The main reason why I haven't gotten back to the play date is because I haven't found a good place in the house to play it that it's well lit enough. Because I have to play it without my glasses, otherwise, because it's too close. Because if I could play it with my glasses, but it has to be this far away, and just with the screen that small, I can't see anything,
Right.
so I have to play it up close. But if I'm too close, I am blocking my own light, so I haven't found a good place to play it.
Yeah. I actually kept this one in my pocket today, and when I took my mom to one of her appointments, I was able to play it while I was waiting for her appointment to be done. So, which was really cool and nice and quick to be able to pull out. But I also found a way to play it in bed by having a light, a small little light shine right on it. I'm playing it, but I have to hold it up like this little and off
Game
to the
Boy
side
Light.
a little bit. Yeah. So I am sure,
I think most of the time I
or at
played
least,
it, I connected it to my computer and used the mirror app.
Okay, that's true. I forgot about the mirror app too. But I am sure. I'm guessing. I don't know. Nothing's for sure anymore because of the pandemic. But and all the, or I wouldn't call it the pandemic anymore. Just the state of the world it is right now. But I am guessing that somewhere in their development they have some sort of accessory to help with the lighting. So I'm hoping we'll get to see that what that is. If not, somebody creative will probably come up with something if there's enough of them out there.
You'll see
But
it on
those
Etsy in about 3 months.
true. Uh, Playdate. Those are the Playdate games I've been playing, and then the Switch games I've been playing. I played a little bit of Live Alive, and if you've been in our Discord, I mentioned that I have to put that aside for now. However, Hambone did bring up, and I think you did too, Jesse, you and Marty, um, saying about maybe not playing the particular chapter I was in and maybe trying a different one. But I'm gonna hold off for a moment because I think I just need a break from large games, that take most of my time. I like being able to pick up these smaller games and goof around with them a little bit. So I just need to be in the right mindset, I think, to get back into it. So
Micro games.
yeah, micro games, little quick, maybe like Stray. When I was playing that, it was, I was able to play it in under 10 hours, so and that was a lot of fun. I knew where I was going. I knew what I had to do. There was a light at the end of the tunnel. Where Live Alive is, there's a lot going on there. So especially with the Japanese chapter I was playing. I forget what's that called again, the Odin one or whatever.
Edo period.
Edo period. Yeah, I was playing that one. There's so much going on in that particular one. It was like I'm getting lost in this mansion, trying to figure out where I'm going. There's a hidden boss that I didn't know existed. That I'm like, I have no strength to fight right now. So it was just a lot going on there. I was like getting frustrated and it wasn't going. I was just in the mood to kind of get through games quickly, kind of see my way through things. So, and that was not certainly what I needed at the time. So I'm putting that one aside. I'll come back to that when I'm in that mindset again. Um, I also picked up, not picked up, but I started playing Raji and Ancient Epic again because the enhanced edition for the Switch came out on July 28th. It's out also on the PlayStation and Xbox. It came out sooner, I think on the 22nd. But basically, the developers of the game enhanced the graphics of the game. And I actually did a video. It's not posted anywhere because something happened when I re-downloaded the game and booted it up and tried to find my save file and didn't, and ended up starting a new file. And then I was like, uh-oh.
Is
And
the
I
enhanced
left the
edition
game.
incompatible with the original version?
No, what
Because
happened
I've
was
seen that before.
I re-downloaded it, but didn't, for whatever reason, the cloud didn't re-download my save because it was in the cloud.
Okay.
I thought it was on my Switch because I don't, when you delete the game, it doesn't delete the save file. But for whatever reason,
I thought it did, unless you say archive, then it won't.
it says when you go to delete it, it says that it's.
I
I'm
don't
going to go
remember.
there right now.
I haven't deleted many games, so I don't know.
If you go to delete software, at the bottom option, it says save data will not be deleted.
Okay.
So I was under the impression when I re-downloaded it that it would pick up my save file that's still on my Switch. Apparently it's not on my Switch, probably because I guess it didn't get transferred over.
System transfer?
In when I got the OLED.
Yeah. So were you able to pull the cloud back up back to the system?
You know what happened? This is what I was frustrated about, is that because I started the file, it wrote over what I had in the cloud. I saw it there too, because I went to the cloud while it was still doing its back end stuff. It was like right there from November 2020.
That hurts.
It was when I finished the game. And I was like, and beat the game and stuff like that. I was like, oh, there it is. And I went and I was like, I need to go upload that back to the Switch. As soon as I went off that, whatever I was looking at, it went and said, your your stuff saved to the cloud, and the new date was, August 2nd, 2022. And I was like, no. So it's like
Ouch.
none of the save file was there. I have to replay the game from the beginning, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to do a video showing, because I have footage from when I played it back in 2020 saved on my computer. Because I did save all of the content before I did the upgrade. I saved all my videos and screenshots. But what I was going to do was show, okay, here's the part I played here when I played it in 2020 and compare it to what I'm playing now. And I was going to try to go to a specific point that I went to in the save file, into a specific chapter or whatever in the game. I wanted to see if I could do that. And because I couldn't do that, it was like I had to start over and all that kind of stuff. And I was just so frustrated. I was like, the whole video is basically, I started playing it and me going through that whole thought process, and I didn't upload it to YouTube. So it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that video. It was just me like, well, this is the new game. I'll show a little bit of the video I do have, and then you can see, but you can tell I'm frustrated. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. So, but anyways, maybe it'll be worth it just to upload it and see what everybody thinks. The last game I've been playing, which is really cool, is a game called Before We Leave. And this was actually a game that was recommended to me by Max Power. I think his name is Max in our Discord. He recommended this to us out there, and I was like, ooh, it's a city builder game. So I went and picked it up right away once I learned about what it was. So Before We Leave is basically, you are a planet of peeps. Yes, they're called peeps, which is right there sold me, because they call
The
them
little
peeps.
yellow marshmallow things.
They're not little yellow marshmallow
Oh.
things, but that's what I say at the end of my, usually is like Chickulator peeps or something like that. I usually say peeps to everybody. So I was like, oh, that's great. This game calls everybody peeps. But basically, you are people that lived underground for centuries on this planet. We'll assume it's planet Earth. That you finally emerge. All these peeps finally emerge out of the planet from this doorway or whatever. You come out and you're going to try to reclaim the planet and make discoveries based on what the ancients had. So like boats and buildings and rocket ships and all that kind of stuff. So basically, you are doing a city building with these peeps, and you come out, you have to create, huts to house them. You create farms to feed them. You create water wells to meat bag plus people. But it's basically, it starts off very laid back, especially because I'm in a tutorial area, and it teaches you all about the HUD and the mechanics of the game and what you have to do. And it gives you kind of like tasks to help you move along and learn the game. So right now it's very laid back, but you can be attacked by, I guess, aliens from other planets. So that's a threat that comes in later in the game. I haven't been attacked yet in the tutorial. I have been exploring to other parts of the planet to expand my colonies. And that's as far as I got into the tutorial, which actually I did a lot of that part in the video that posted today, actually, on this game Before We Leave. So you can go there to our YouTube channel and see what a let's play video of that there. Again, it's a city builder and has a ton of content, and there's still so much there that I have to learn about basically managing your peeps, managing the building structures, managing pollution, managing assuming further on electricity, resources, all that kind of stuff. So, and I mentioned this in the video that ever since I fell in love with SimCity on the Super Nintendo when I was a kid, I've been looking for something similar to that same experience ever since. And this comes pretty darn close so far. some of them, even some of the mechanics do it too. So does Bowser terrorize your city? No, Nintendo, not that I'm aware of yet, unless they got a special thing with Nintendo to do that. I don't know.
You just haven't gotten far enough.
Of course, yeah, I haven't gotten far enough. So, but again, I'm only doing the tutorial, and because I've been spending a lot of time in the tutorial, I don't know, I don't remember what else is in the game. Like if there's an actual like, I know there's other things you can do with it, but I don't know what they're called. It's like I don't know if there's a story mode or a campaign mode or whatever modes. I wasn't paying attention to that. I just immediately jumped into the tutorial and been enjoying myself with that and loving that. So if you're a SimCity fan, I think this will scratch that itch, or even any of this other city builder games. So check it out before we leave for the Nintendo Switch. And I also believe it's out on other systems as well, including Steam if you want to play it on your PC. So that's what I've been playing. So what else have you guys all been saying? Ebicel, did you tell us what you've been playing? Mecha, let's see, did you finally tell us what you've been playing?
He did. He let me scroll up and find it. He's been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Master Duel at the same time. I wish I have more arms.
All right. Oh yeah, I see. Okay, cool. Excellent. And then Ebicel.
Nintendo says if EA would ever
nothing yet from
release
there.
SimCity 2000 or newer, and I said without breaking it on day one.
I okay. I'm not even gonna go down the EA route. Never mind. All right, let's move on to community spotlight.
Ebicel did answer your question.
Oh, leaf blower revolution, Nug, and power washer. Leaf blower revolution.
I don't know. I've never heard of that one.
Are you making stuff up, Ebicel? He's making stuff up.
Well, like, Power Washer Simulator is a real game, but
next he's going to tell us he's playing Star Foxy Submergence. NGU RAP Maxis. Yes, RAP Maxis. So you guys quit baiting me with the EA stuff. I'm not gonna go off in EA right now. All right, let's go to the community spotlight. All right, here's the chance where we go over the community stuff. Basically, our community, our family of podcasts, the contests we have going on, and some of the questions you guys gave us. So first off, some of the contests. The Dads After Dark announced their latest monthly mayhem for us, for our community to get involved with, which is, of course, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the new tracks. So right now it's qualifying time trials with 150cc. You play and submit as many times as you would like prior to the deadline for that course. And the deadline is August 11th. Submit screenshots through Discord Mayhem channel, and then points will be awarded based on what place you finish. So right now it is the Mushroom Gorge time trials from 8/4 to 8/11. So August 4th through August 11th. You have to do your time trials, and then stay tuned for that. So if you want to come join in our monthly mayhem, come join our Discord and check out the Dads After Dark Show's monthly mayhem channel, and you'll see all the information there. Dads After Dark Show also has a bounty board. They still have open the first to collect all Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga Kyber bricks. There are 1,166 in all, and you get a $10 eShop card. And I'm almost tempted to up that bounty because it sounds like to match it, because that sounds like a pretty hefty.
I think they said, since that game's on all platforms, if you don't want eShop but prefer PSN money or Xbox Live money,
yeah, there you go. Yes,
they'll give you $10 in whatever form you want it.
So $10 or whatever. So which is pretty cool. But it sounds like a lot of effort in the game. So I kind of think they should up that bounty. I don't know. If John, I think John listens to these. So if you hear this, let's talk. Let's see if we can help match that or something. Or I had an idea. Let me just throw this out there and see if he's listening. If someone collects all the Kyber bricks in the Skywalker saga, the not only will they get the $10 gift money from wherever, but you will get a Nintendo Dad's voucher for the next Lego game that comes out.
Ooh.
Something to think about. We'll talk about that with the dads.
Yeah. No,
After Dark
not
Show.
not Roblox, Nintendo. No.
No. All right. Game Pass news, Archive Hunters. Stay tuned for that. Did they drop a new archive
I
thing?
was looking for this, so that I was on the wrong page.
Ooh. All right, yeah, but stay tuned if I missed it. Stay tuned to Game Pass news for their Achievement Hunters stuff as well, which they also announce in their Achievement Hunters channel in our Discord. So stay tuned there. All right, and since we're talking about the Dads After Dark show and the Game Pass news, guys, let's just jump right over to their family of podcast information. Which, speaking of Game Pass news, they dropped episode 63 this past Saturday, and of course they drop an episode every Saturday. So in a couple days they'll drop episode 64. But in episode 63, their title is Chubby's Tea and Game Pass. um, buy to 5 good games in Game Pass is what they talk about. Best games in Game Pass in 2022 so far. The Xbox and Activision Blizzard merger nearing an end, and their Game Pass favorites this week. So, of course, go take a listen. If you're overwhelmed with all the Game Pass love, go listen to them. They'll help guide you in the right direction. Also, talking about the Dads After Dark show, they dropped episode 105 just Monday night at 9 p.m. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is here is the title of that show, their podcast, and they talk about their first impressions with the game. It's time again for a game of joysticks or skin flicks with Bob Cousy. So a friend of the show was there, and you can imagine what that's about. Of course, it's Dads After Dark show. Don't listen to it when the kids are around. But they do talk about, is the Disney magic ebbing? So something kind of like similar to their Nintendo talk before. So, but you can find both of those groups, the podcast on your favorite podcast feed. So go look for them. But last but not least, we also had the Retro Logic crew, where Retro Logic themselves, they dropped episode 85, where Dan returns to Pokemon, Sam talks about mechs, and John talks about his collection's spacing issues. And then episode 10 of On Topic Retro is also out there, where All In Eric from the All In podcast and John discuss their love for Super Bomberman on the SNES. And then also Retro Groove recently started up their season 2 and dropped episode 1, where they talk about the evolution of the Beastie Boys. So go check out all those different varying topics, something for everybody there in our family of podcasts. Now, we have a couple questions from the community that we'll cover real quick. A couple of good ones that I think maybe let's talk about the one Mecca has here, Jesse.
Okay.
He says, I played Terraria with some friends earlier this week and kind of got bored after a couple of minutes and forced myself to play it a bit, hoping maybe I'll like it later. At the end, while I understand why people like this game, I'm starting to realize that it isn't my thing. He's got 3 questions here, all related. Have any of you dads ever tried forcing yourself to like a game or a genre? And when do you start realizing that a game or genre isn't your thing? And what genre or game isn't your thing at all?
I think my answer kind of sums up all 3 of them in
Okay.
one story. I think the one that comes into my mind is when I heard about Monster Hunter for the first time. It on paper that sounds like a game I'd like, so I was excited for it when it came out on the Wii. So it was Monster Hunter Try. So I got it and I played through the tutorial. It maybe the first hour, and I was confused still, and even like this was the tutorial with standardized gear. Why is my sword clipping? I'd understand it if it happened later on in the game with weapons that aren't often used, but you're starting with a sword that everyone else is starting with. Why is it clipping? Anyway, so then I actually got to the start of the game, and it was having me do things that the tutorial didn't talk about. So I'm like, I was just frustrated, and I said, I guess Monster Hunter games aren't for me. And other than the the latest demo that came out, not the Sunrise, but for the base game, uh, I haven't touched the franchise,
Okay.
and probably won't ever touch it again because again, I didn't like the demo.
So you didn't even like the demo, and that with that even being much improvement over the first time you played it.
Yeah, I just didn't understand what was going on, and the game historically, or the series historically, is best if you find a friend who already knows what's going on and they teach you, because the
Yeah.
in-game tutorials have always kind of been lacking.
Yes. Yes.
Especially early on, there basically wasn't much of a tutorial. So they I heard they have gotten better, but still the first thing I hear people say is, "You don't know what's going on? Play with me for an hour. I'll have you figuring it out."
Right.
You shouldn't have to rely on other people to like your game.
Yeah. But luckily there are people out there who basically grasped it and can help you get through it for sure. So, and it sounds like we got some people in the chat who are who could help you out. And Friendo being one of them, it sounds like, because he
Yeah,
was
no, I'm
playing
good.
the latest one.
Yeah, he did a crying emoji in the chat
Right.
because I brought up Monster Hunter.
Let's see, a genre that I thought I would like, but basically realized that it isn't my thing is I think the strategy type games, the grid like games. For the
Yeah,
most part, I don't like, or I found that I mean, there's something about them that I like, but when I actually play them, I'm just like, oh, this is so boring. So it's like there's parts of it that I like, the organization of it, I think, and the task orientation of it, in some of the cases, but just playing it is just very slow. And some RPGs are like that with for me, and it to that extent too. Um, and even some um well, city builders can be that way, and what's the other kind? The rts's can be slow too, but I guess it's just one of those things where I have to be in that mood. Like Three Houses, obviously you don't play that game all strategically the whole time, but I was able to get through that most of that game because it's not 100% just the grid based, battles and stuff like that. Whereas something like the tactics type games, it's like they're very intriguing to me, but I cannot get through it. And I think that's why I've kind of stayed away from the Mario and Rabbids games, because they're that same type of thing.
well, see, I've traditionally not liked the grid-based combat games either, like Fire Emblem, Mega Man Battle Network, things like that. But
Yeah.
I did like Mario and Rabbids, and looking forward to
Yeah.
the next one.
I remember you
I
saying that. And it's like
I liked Steam World. Which one was it? Heist,
heist. Okay.
which is kind of instead of it being on a grid like this, where you still have an X and Y axis,
Mhm.
it's on a grid like this. So you're like an X and a Z axis. So you're playing in a cross section of a ship running around. But still,
Gotcha.
same type of thing. Everyone takes turns moving and taking a shot, just like
Gotcha.
Mario and Rabbids, just like XCOM.
Yeah, XCOM. Yeah, it's one I've stayed away from too. Although I own XCOM, I own Mario Rabbids because of the family, like the kids mainly wanting to try them and stuff like that. So, and we had the ability to pick them up. So, so we have them. I just they've I've been kind of staying away because of my past experiences on those. But great question, Mecca. We have another question from Gandalf, 1937, which I love the name. I think 1937, wasn't that the year Lord of the Rings came out, or Hobbit came out? Something like that. I think that's
I
cool.
don't
His
know.
name. Yeah, I think that's cool. His name is his or her name is Gandalf.
Okay.
Um,
Now I'm going to have to look it up, but you go ahead and read it.
all right. This one might be something we might have to carry over so the other dads can answer this.
Yeah. The Hobbit.
How
The Hobbit was written in 1937.
Okay. Question is how long do you plan on podcasting? How long will Nintendo Dads exist? Through through Grandtendo Dads or rotate hosts like NVC? I just want to prepare myself mentally, Laugh out loud. Okay, well, wow, that's a very deep question.
Oh,
And we'll save that for next week. No.
we'll save it for when Justin's back. Okay, okay. My short
Next
answer
month.
is as long as we still have interest in doing it, and is not interest in an audience who want to continue listening, this will go on for a while. And we've already have had some hosts rotate in and out.
Yes.
Started off with 3 of us. We were 5 at one point. Now we're down to 4 again.
I'm one of them
Yeah.
that rotated out in, I should say. Yep.
Yeah, and Grandtendo Dads is, with how old our daughters are, they probably will come sooner than we want.
Right. Shh. No, not yet. No.
Well, we're about the same age. I think our daughters
Yes.
are about the same age.
Yeah, very true. Yep. It is possible. It is very possible. I mean, yeah. But yeah, so we may not have an offshoot of Nintendo Dads called Grandtendo Dads. So Gandalf 1937, I hope you don't mind us, taking that name. So Grandtendo Dads, we'll trademark it now. So yeah, I agree, Jesse. It's like basically however long people want to hear us or we don't get booed off the stage, essentially.
Yeah, again, almost 8 years, almost 400 episodes.
Yeah, because I mean
I
it started just by basically you guys wanting to talk about Nintendo stuff and being parents and sharing your Nintendo love with your kids.
Zach and I are former podcasters from BC Tribune, so we already knew how to podcast. We just had to train Justin up, and sometimes
Right.
it feels like that's still happening.
Yeah, I wish he was here to hear that one. That would have been awesome. I'll have to clip it and share it with him. Be like, check it out.
No. We'll find out if he listens to the show.
There. All right, there we go. Let's see if Justin hears he got burned. All right. So, anyways, rotate like NBC. Like you said, yeah, we've kind of already done that. I've come in. I came in when Gary was here. Then Gary eventually had to go on his own accord. Zach left already before I came
no evil
on.
wizards.
So yeah, but and those guys are always welcome back too. So it's not like they could never come back. So it's just up to them. I mean, Zach's been back once or twice. Gary it's harder for him to be on because he's across the pond and he would have to get up at like 4:00 in the morning to come join us.
Right.
Or 3:00 in the morning if we do 10:00, right? So yeah, it would be 3. So yeah.
Mecca says we can call it Nintendo Dads, the next generation.
There we go. So yeah, I think it's a great question. And we can ask Marty and Justin, or if they hear this, they can respond too. And we can read it next time if they're not able to join next week because they're on vacation. Woo, summer vacation. Great questions, everybody. Thank you very much.
I
And
was going to say, what's a vacation? But normally I try to avoid vacation as much as possible.
right.
'Cause-
Jesse, did we get a voicemail? You don't have one,
no,
do you? Okay.
no. Is that
All
we?
right.
Well, yes, we got a voicemail, but no, it wasn't show related. It was
It
just
wasn't even fun. Wasn't even fun
no.
to listen to.
I think it was one of
Spam.
those spam calls. But I think she was. I think it was Chinese,
Okay.
so it wasn't even
Was she trying to hit
English.
on you, Jesse?
I don't know. I couldn't understand what she was saying, and and that's not the first time we've had that type of call come in. So we're
Okay.
getting some weird spam calls, but let's find some legitimate calls in the future.
Yes. Yep. Our secretary, our receptionist is feeling kind of lonely, not getting any calls, real calls. So um we'll have to again, we'd love to hear your voices. So you definitely should leave a voice message. Speaking of which, that's our episode. It's only 12 o'clock. How did we do that?
It's amazing.
It's like we started a little late, so that counts as under 2 hours, right? All right, let's put it to a close. Thanks to our 6,336 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you very much for subscribing and listening to us. And please let others know so we can keep growing those numbers and sharing what we do here. Also, over on Twitch, we have over 1,376 followers, which we would love if you'd switch over to be subscribers. Right now, we got 16 Twitch subscribers. We'd love to grow that out some more. And we know we probably should do better in scheduling some things, but we're dads. We got lives. We're busy. We do this as a hobby, so it's kind of hard to schedule things. So we'll try. We'll try. But anyways, don't forget to get 20% off your Manscaped order with free shipping with the code NINDADS. Don't forget about, sharing that Master Sword and rupees with your Zelda, and keeping it nice. Check out our merch store via nintendodads.org/merch. Oh yeah, and don't forget, you can go to gooder.com and also use the NINDADS code there as well. Going back to our merch store, go back to, for anything Nintendo Dads related, you can go to nintendodads.org and go and see all of our YouTube videos, our tweets, our podcasts, our social media stuff, links to some shop stuff, our merch, all that kind of stuff. Again, nintendodads.org, go there for all that stuff. We also are sharing our family of podcasts there as well. So if you want a quick way to find out where they are, what episodes they're on, go there, nintendodads.org, to see that. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com for anything you'd like us to talk about, any feedback or anything like that, or call and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show. And don't forget to download our podcast with your favorite podcast app of choice and leave a review for us there, like at Apple's podcasting there. So give us 5 stars. Again, 5 stars for us. Anything less can go to the Mega Dads, like we've always said. So they're happy to take those. For me, for Jesse, and for the vacationing Justin and Marty, this is the Nintendo Dads, episode 386. Check you later, peeps.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Maple syrup.